My name is Dylan, but you can call me Buttercup. Welcome to Buttercup Yarn Art, the soft-spoken video journal where I play with yarn and share my thoughts. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to hear me talk about, please leave a comment to let me know. I have finished the Quiet Bay Mystery Knit Along. The pattern will be released, the full pattern will be released this coming Tuesday, October 5th. And I am considering possibly showing off the finished shawl as next week's visuals in the video, since the full pattern being released means it won't be a spoiler anymore. I posted a picture of the finished shawl on my Instagram. You can head over there to check it out. I am still working on the Gigi Cardi from Knititude. That's what today's visual is. I am just about to separate the sleeves, so I don't want to get too deep in that for the recording. So I figured I would just show you the lovely striping that I'm getting from this yarn. It is so colorful, but it's all purple, and I am really loving it so far. It is a nice palette cleanser from the fingering weight yarn of the Mystery Knit Along. Fingering weight yarn makes really nice fabric, really fine and all of that, but a row of any significant length just winds up taking so long to get through. It feels interminable, and I really prefer working with thicker yarn because it feels like it takes a more appropriate amount of time to get through a row. So this is a really nice project to have going now that I've finished this whole shawl in fingering weight yarn, and I can now work on this lovely worsted weight sweater. So I'm really enjoying it so far, and my plan is, once I separate the sleeves, there's a knot in the current ball of yarn that I'm working with, so I'm going to work the body until I get to that knot, put the body on hold, do the sleeves, and then come back and finish the body once the sleeves are complete. I'm planning on working the body until I run out of yarn, so I want to get the sleeves done first, just to make sure that I have enough and I don't just use everything up and forget about the sleeves until it's too late. I also I got the Ridgeline Duster pattern that Knititude just released. It's a similar construction to the Gigi Cardi, and I find this a really interesting construction. I've really enjoyed working it. I have a couple of patterns with this construction, and I find it really interesting and I enjoy it. And I also really like dusters. I really like really long cardigans. So the Ridgeline pattern will be a really nice project for me, I think. that's not the topic for today. That's not really what I intended to talk at length about. I mean, I love talking about it, but that's not the main topic. The main topic that I want to talk about today is coming back to things after, taking some time off or some time away or some kind of break. I love to read. Always have. Reading is really important to me. It's, something that's kind of kept me company throughout the years. And months and months and months ago, I read An Absolutely Remarkable Thing and A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor, both by Hank Green. And I kind of needed to pause to let my brain finish digesting them. It was just kind of hooked on the stories, just kind of not wanting to let them go for a while. And rather than, muddy those books with another book, or muddy another book with those books, I decided, okay, I'll take a break, let my brain finish chewing on this. And then I didn't read anything else for a while. A long while. I finally, this week, picked up a new book and got back to reading. I didn't intend not to read anything for such a long time. It just, first I was letting my brain work something out. It was stuck on something and I just kind of let it be. Let it, work through that on its own. And then once I worked it out, I was knitting really intensely on a lot of things. And, I didn't really have time to read in between all of that intense knitting. And now that I have finished the Quiet Bay Mystery Knit-Along, I'm not working on anything that intensely. I don't have any projects that I am rushing to finish for whatever reason. Be it another clue is coming out, or I just really want to have it finished as soon as possible. And so I have time to read again. And I've really been enjoying it. And I kind of noticed something. That's a little funny. I took a break from reading after I finished a duology starring a bisexual woman lead character. And then I started, when I came back to it, a duology featuring a bisexual woman lead character. And not only that, both duologies are sci-fi. Not that I have any biases with my reading material. No, not me. And I chose each duology because I already like the author. An Absolutely Remarkable Thing and A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor are by Hank Green. And I really like Hank Green. I like the content that he puts out. I like, what he tries to do with the platform that he has. And so I was really excited when he released a book because, I kind of figured that even if he wasn't a good writer, it would be really interesting to read. And it turns out he's a pretty good writer too, in my opinion. So it worked out great. And the duology that I am reading now is Adaptation and Inheritance by Melinda Lowe. And she had previously written 2 books that I read, one called Ash and one called Huntress, set in the same universe at vastly different times. And I really, really love those 2 books. So I already knew that I liked Melinda Lowe's writing, and I saw that she had put out this sci-fi duology, so I decided to read it, because I already know that I like her writing, I enjoy her style, I like the way she tells stories, so I decided to read these as well. And I'm enjoying it so far. I accidentally spoiled myself on the big twist at the end because I was looking for the last page of the first book, and there's a chapter of the second book included at the end, and I accidentally read a couple of sentences that give away the big twist from the end of the first book. It doesn't really bother me though, because I don't really care about spoilers personally. It actually made me notice a bunch of foreshadowing that I had completely overlooked. So that was fun. But yeah, I don't really care about spoilers. I think the interesting part is how they get to that point, not necessarily what that point is, if that makes sense. So it doesn't really bother me that I spoiled myself. But anyway, I think that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.